Hello, this is Timothy Bishop on November the 13th, 1993. And this ticks me off the way these things are recorded. These things will not eliminate that blasted background noise. It's making me so mad, too. So now you're going to be have to listen to two voices at one time. I'm going to have to be talking as loud as the Street Fighter announcer, whatever, the football announcer, for crying out loud. Talk as loud as the blasted megaphone just to get these things to pick up the right one and start playing the right one for me. And if what I have to do from now on is start recording blank over these tapes before I do this, and that's what it's going to take. But talk about low-quality recording. Look at this. You know, these background voices in here. This blah, 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 blah. Jeez, I tried to make that tape over to Arlene's house. I thought it was the tape. It turns out it wasn't. Because they do it on this tape, too. I'll just listen to that last part to see how much of that last sentence I got. I guess I got enough of it that you realize that I was saying that's how desperate I am. Well, Christopher came over a few nights ago, and not a few nights, it was like 4 weeks ago. But anyway, that night, well, he also brought his Game Genie, so what I did is I got on Final Fantasy and got the Game Genie, and I would buy a karate suit, and then it wouldn't take away any gold. When I sell it, it would give me the gold, so I bought that karate suit, and then I bought another one, and I started getting my gold up until I had enough to buy 99 at one time, and then I bought a whole bunch of them. And then I sold them until my gold got up to 9,999,999. Then I bought a bunch of karate suits that I could sell whenever he went away with it, so that way I could buy enough ether potions to last me for a while. That's what I should have done, is gotten me some ethers, but I don't know why people get so bored with that game. That game is so neat. I don't know why people are so bored with that thing. I'm telling you, it has a plot. That's enough for anyone right there. I mean, that's enough for anyone. That's why we watch TV now. That's why we watch stuff like Aladdin. Even if you can't control it, it's still interesting as long as it has a plot, as long as you're not sitting there doing the same thing over and over again. Of course, with Final Fantasy II, sometimes you are doing the same thing over and over again, just with different monsters, but I mean, it's not the same thing. And when you read books. When you read books, you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're interpreting words, interpreting English words. The only reason we read them is because it's different words. You're still doing the same thing, though. It's just different words. So, okay, so Final Fantasy II, well, you're doing the same thing, defeating monsters. Well, look at this, it's different monsters, and it's different places, and there's different plot. New things happening all the time, new people coming in, new fights, new spells, new everything. New ideas, you know, new attack patterns, new strategies for killing monsters. With Azuri, you can't just attack her, she'll cure herself. You gotta use a wall on her so she'll cure or bounce off the wall and hit you, you know? Strategy, common sense. You have to use your brain a little bit with that game. With Tetris 2, you know, you just sit there and move the blocks around, put them down. What kind of reward do you get? You get to see some man pick up a crystal ball, watch it fly away and wave to it. The man is solid green. He doesn't even have eyes and a nose or anything like that. He's walking on an asteroid. Maybe it's an alien, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm disappointed with Tetris 2. It's fun to play against the computer and try to beat him, but you're doing the same thing, and there is absolutely no sense of progression. No progression. Without doubt, there is no progression. Once you win, you start over. With Final Fantasy 2, there's a little bit of progression in there. You know, you don't do something for like 15 minutes and then start over. You know, Final Fantasy 2 takes approximately 20 hours to beat, for me. In the instructions, they say 30 or 40. First time I played it, it took me 45 hours, I think. With all the experience, though, it probably took me more like 50 or something. I don't see how anyone can not like that game. That game's got, you know, it's different things happening, new people saying things. It's still reading, but it's a combination of so many different things. It's a combination of using your reading skills to read the dialogue, using your math skills to know how many so-and-so to buy, using your, you know, knowing how to equip your characters with the right things, and knowing how to be ready for certain situations. You know, when you start getting attacked by fire, all you gotta do is put on the ice armor, and there you go. You're resistant to it. What would you do in real life if somebody had a fire on your house? You put water on it. Close enough, right? But anyway, back to the point. Christopher he watched me for a while, and the only thing that he even complimented that game about was the tornado that sandworm did on us in the middle of the desert. Because it looks like the weak spell. I thought that was the coolest thing since sliced bread myself the first time I saw it. And so when Rydia learned that spell later on in the game, I started using that thing against every single monster I fought because it was so cool to see that thing on the other side of the screen for a change. Since that Val was always doing it to me. So anyway, Christopher, he quit watching me after a while, obviously. He must have been bored with it, but I guess if he was playing, it'd be a little bit more fun. But anyway, he said he was going to borrow it. As far as I was concerned, when he left that night, he had Final Fantasy 2. So anyway, I got up the next morning, and I looked at those Nintendo games, and I decided, well, since I don't have Final Fantasy 2, I might as well pick the second best thing. Dadgummit, I went through those cartridges, and I saw one that had this tiny writing on it, real tiny letters. And I realized, wait a minute, isn't that how they draw Final Fantasy 2? I picked up that cartridge, and just like, as I said in Darlene's house, the same tone of voice, and I'm not afraid to do it, I say, dadgummit, that was Final Fantasy 2! He didn't even take the blasted game! Jeez, so now I've been sitting here playing this thing 4 hours a day for the last month, and now I'm tired of it.
Obviously don't mind.
She's done it for 4 days in a row this week without playing it. Mary even says she gets bored watching it. I guess it is boring watching me when all I'm doing is building experience, but when you're doing the plot, you know, doing the voices, having different people doing different things at different times in different places. Different people, different things, different times, different places. Think about that. With Tetris, it's the same thing. Same place, same time, same thing. Different pieces, you know. Different strategies, you know. Of course, that's Tetris, boy. Tetris has more different strategies than Final Fantasy 2, just a few. But I don't see the meaning of playing a game with no plot. How can you tell me you won't play a Nintendo game that has plot? How can you tell me a Nintendo game that has plot is boring? When you're building experience, that's the only time there's no plot, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm taking Cecil and Kane, I'm building every single bit of experience I can. Until I'm going to build experience until I turn blue in the face, but I've got Cecil and Kane up to level 17 now. And I haven't even defeated the Mist Dragon yet, but last time I went to fight him, I did pretty good. Dadgum, I did good. And so whenever I get a level 20 and my attack starts jumping way up there. Well, that's all I've talked about for the last 15 minutes now. Why Final Fantasy 2 is more fun. Of course, then again, I've always noticed that my persuasive tapes are the best ones. Anyway, well, Dad gave me some last. See, I counted my money the other night. I got $165. $165.66. Something like that. I'm telling you, I don't know how I got so much money. I just jumped up there. My economics was 60, so that explains something. And Dad gave me allowance. I mean, we're not with him at all. We don't do anything for him. We don't even ask him to go anywhere. And he gives us $10 allowance every time we go over there. I don't know where he's getting the money to give us that. He's saying he wishes he could give us more. And that. He's already doing better than Steve just by saying that. He doesn't compare. I'm telling you, sometimes I wonder if we shouldn't have even bought that game because of the way he compares. Always wants to be better than other people. He does that in Tetris. He does it in bowling, you know. He's jealous of someone because they have a 199 average and he hates them because of it. Now I should have asked him one thing. Would he hate himself if he had a 199 average? Would he hate himself? No. No one hates themselves if they have a 199 average. So why should he hate somebody else if they have a 199 average? He just loves himself more than he loves them. That's what it is. He loves himself more than anybody, shoot. Probably even us, you know. He's always talking about, I mean, he comes up with these sudden rules, and, you know, the next day it's like they don't exist. It's just because he's in a bad mood. He says, well, y'all need to be saying yes, ma'am, and no, man. Y'all don't need to be rocking them chairs. Y'all don't need to be sitting with your butt on this cubic centimeter of the couch because it might collapse. And what do you suppose we're doing when you're gone, you know, when we don't have to live